Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Aman Nakagawa. Hey, Aman.
Thank you, Professor
How
Ruff.
you doing?
Good. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming, and I'd like to also thank Professor Ruff for inviting me to speak among a very talented group of speakers. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. Coming to the Success Conference really distinguishes you for your interest and concern for the most important leaders of the future, you. So I look forward to sharing some research and descriptive statistics with you on college graduation, retention rates, and rates of attrition. So in this brief talk, I'm going to give you 3 take-home points based on what's in the research literature. And those 3 points are: a college curriculum that builds, develops, and cultivates optimism in students is linked to successful college graduation and retention rates. And I'm going to expand on this concept of optimism, which is very much linked to what Professor Ruff referred to as personal development. The second take-home point is a no-cost orientation course designed to facilitate self-development through a variety of exercises and activities that relate to their personal and educational development, like examining abilities, aptitudes, interests, values, and personal development is linked to the successful completion of degrees. The third take-home point is that persons with a need for achievement who have learned a mastery approach and a performance approach succeed, whereas a fear of failure leads one to avoid goals that result in success. The use of cognitive strategies, specifically the ability to analyze and evaluate material, i.e. critical thinking, will make a huge difference. I'd like to begin with a story that I found on the internet. There is a graduate from Brooklyn College. His name is Leon Meyer, and he graduated in 1959. And this is what he wrote about his professor. I received poor grades in my first 2 semesters at Brooklyn College, but earned B's in the courses taught by Daniel Francis Coogan, who taught German from 1948 to 1969. More importantly, he indicated that he understood the personal turmoil that I was experiencing in my life at that time. The next year, I dropped out, but Professor Coogan told me that he was certain I would return to college. At a time when no one else believed in me, he assured me that I would overcome. After a few dead-end jobs, I enrolled in the evening sessions and had my first taste of modest success. I maintained contact with Professor Coogan and saw him regularly. It was then that I began to crave success, because I could not allow myself to disappoint Professor Coogan. This craving for success is linked to optimism and mastery approach goals. In a publication, a peer-reviewed publication in the Journal of Applied Social Psychology, more than a quarter of adults over the age of 25 have completed a high school diploma, and slightly less than a quarter of these have college degrees in the United States. In 2010, the average annual income for adults with a high school diploma was $27,511, while the income for persons with a bachelor's degree averaged $45,692, and that's in the U.S. Census Bureau from 2009. The American College Testing Service reported that 26% of college freshmen at 4-year colleges and 45% of college freshmen at 2-year colleges never graduate. This is not new information, and the attrition rate in American colleges appears to be stable at about 45% for a century. So during this graduation season, why should you care about increasing the nation's college attainment rate? Raising this rate has a significant positive impact on wages, tax revenues, their personal benefits that extend to the public good. College graduates live longer, live healthier lives, are more civically engaged, tend to donate blood, tend to volunteer. They have increased professional mobility, more hobbies, more leisure activities, according to the Institute for Higher Policy, and earn $1 million more over their lifetimes than those with only a high school degree. So in the research literature, definitions for graduation and retention rates are not straightforward. What if someone starts college and takes a leave of absence and raises a child and then returns to complete their degree 5 years later? What if someone is a transfer student? Do those get classified as attrition rates or dropout rates? So these are instances of methodological issues that different researchers have struggled to look at the phenomena of graduation and retention rates. So retention is generally understood to be when students remain at an institution for the duration of their studies, and attrition refers to leaving an institution prior to graduation. And a majority of college dropouts occur during the first year. According to American College Testing's annual National Dropout and Graduation Rates report, approximately 29% of incoming students drop out before the sophomore year. Successful completion of the first year in college appears to be essential for graduation. So I will be talking about an orientation course that is geared toward preventing that dropout rate in the first year. There are specific theories regarding retention. One is Aston's student involvement theory, and his theory states that as students increase their physical and emotional investment on campus, their rate of retention increases. So what are some ways to inspire, motivate, and increase a student's physical and emotional investment on campus? There is a body of research literature that describes a quantitative relationship between college graduation, retention, attrition, and this idea of optimism. Optimism is defined as having a generalized positive outlook on important life outcomes. There are certain retention variables in the literature, like SAT score, ACT score, high school GPA, previous academic performance. These are called retention variables. Motivation is affected by importance of an outcome, expectancy of an outcome, or emotional energy and strength. Motivation may follow from optimistic experiences. So the key is to how do we increase optimism? Optimists see positive outcomes as possible. Optimists see the glass half full, not half empty. Optimists have higher goal engagement, as reflected in goal importance and commitment to achievement. You ever hear a group of persons complaining and everyone else wants to get in line because they want to have a turn? So this is a time to shift one's thinking and say, I have to remove myself from that environment and focus on something positive. Because those thoughts tend to be very powerful. They lodge themselves deeply into your subconscious, and then they have a life of their own. So when you cultivate positive thinking, your chances for success increase, and your ability to handle difficult and stressful situations also increases. Because optimists expect positive outcomes, they appear to be more motivated to achieve what they set out to do. And that is, they persist and engage until their goal is accomplished. And because optimists expect positive outcomes, they often work harder and longer in order to achieve their goals. There's the study that supports the orientation course program was published in 2004 by Derby and Smith. And a relationship between this program and student completion of a degree was found. The orientation program was designed to facilitate self-development, where they met in small groups to examine their abilities, their attitudes, their beliefs, and focused on their development. Did anyone have an orientation course when they came? Was there one? Yeah. So there is greater numbers of students who dropped out who didn't take this orientation course in the study. So it seems that there are naturally occurring resources within the university setting, within the college setting, that can link one to a successful graduation rate in college. There's the third study that supports that if you desire success, your motivation will direct your mind to master the tasks required to get there. And if you're afraid of success, your mind will use strategies that move away from it. Results from that study indicated that students high in need for achievement not only work to keep relevant information active in short-term memory, this strategy is called rehearsal, but also paraphrase and summarize material, which is called elaboration, and manipulate information to facilitate learning, this is called organization, and analyze and evaluate material, this is critical thinking. And the cognitive strategy that has the most impact was critical thinking as being the most effective in terms of being able to facilitate understanding. So in closing, cultivating optimism, implementing an orientation program dedicated to personal and student development, and utilizing cognitive strategies like critical thinking, evaluation, and analysis are linked with success and college graduation and retention rates. Thank you.
Thanks, Aman, very much.
Thank you, Professor Ruff.
Always a pleasure. Always. All right.
Thank you.
Now, thank you very much, Aman. It's always a pleasure to have you here to really frame it in statistical terms.